Oh, hey guys. Hello, everyone. Third video recording today. I want to record this video before we forget. Wow. Should stay, please. Okay, there we go. Oh, wait. Now it's all the way over here. Wow, dude. Seriously. Yeah, so we want to record the video before we forget. It's on the wall here. We have a lot of notes, but eventually we got to record them. A few words here and there. Hard to remember sometimes. Oh, okay. So here's what it is. So I have these 3 sections of notes for types of videos. On this wall, I have a lot of notes. And 3 sections are universal, general, and specific. This one's a keywords from the category of universal videos, things that apply universally. So that means I've thought about it for a long time. And when I ask you, I think the question applies to everyone. So it's not really like a giving of an answer, but I'm literally asking. So let's see. Here's a quote. If you complain about anything, seeing beauty and order, many sacrificed. I'm kind of thinking we could just end the video right now. So let me work with us and try to put in a question. And I'll direct it. You or I or we or us. If you complain about anything at all, is there any beauty around you? Question mark. Is there any order around you? Question mark. Of the many sacrifices that were made, remembered, some forgotten, of the many sacrifices to make it so that if you notice at least a little bit of beauty around you, or if there's enough order for you to pause and complain, what sacrifices have you made to make the existence in your immediate surroundings that you're complaining about? What sacrifices have you made to make that possible? This is a tough one. I remember when it happened. We were driving, and there was no one on the road when I was driving, and it was about maybe 6 p.m. in the evening, and all the lights were green. They just started opening up. There's no one on the road. And I started looking, or just paying more attention to my peripherals that are often ignored, right? Oftentimes you just zone out. But I'm paying attention to the peripherals, and, well, first of all, what do I see? Well, I see the sky. It's not hailing, not crashing down lightning. That's not bad. And then I see buildings. Buildings. And they're not broken down. There's no holes in the windows. The paint still looks new. The landscaping around, like the trees and grass and stuff, it's well kept. I can go in there and park. I can stop right here in the middle of the road for maybe a second or two. In a lane. In an actual lane where the vehicle is. And I can keep going, and I know I can keep going because there's a stoplight with a green light. And it changes. And then I'm going to cross an intersection, and I can be confident, very confident, that as long as I'm following these rules, no one's going to hit me from the side. That would be an anomaly. And then I was thinking about this in a vehicle that is running, that started when I asked it to start. And that it's not going to all of a sudden kick out because there's gasoline in it. And I feel safe. My seatbelt is fastened. And as far as I can see, it's like that. That's where I was in the moment of when I got this thought. And I thought, how easy it is to feel like it's a challenge. How easy it is to feel like it's a challenge to not complain. How easy it is to feel like it's a challenge to take a moment and, of all the things, maybe point out some things that are beautiful. Take a moment to understand maybe it's not as hard as I thought to look around and think to myself, yeah, like we here driving around in the city. It's not one big dust bowl where cars are crashing into each other. And going back to the sacrifice thing, like whether it's people saying yes to a particular job description, right? That's on the very first level, surface level, doing these things, or someone picking something up off the ground so that things stay fairly well clean and they're doing their part. Or maybe the stuff that was required to paint and build buildings, and then how that applied to the city, and then how maybe there's, of all the people that don't want to do it, some people stepping up to take part in the service that a city requires to keep it going and clean. And the countless amount of time people choose to decide to, invest or set aside or even relinquish for a greater good. And then you can look up, right? And look at it like from your city to your state to your country. And even at that level, once you start going state to country, it's like, I'm not the only one alive. I'm going to say that again. I'm not the only one alive. Which means beyond my capacity to recognize how many people are alive and how many people have died. Like the amount of effort and true care and sacrifice that people outside of yourself choose to participate in these decisions that are part of structuring a good that's at least good in the moment, that can align to a good future, maybe even the best. maybe even the best. So if you're looking around, maybe you're stuck in traffic. Maybe it's a little too warm in your vehicle. Maybe there's too many people in front of you at the line to order some food. The question is, what did you do to make it as good or as bad as it is? What did you do to make it as good or as bad as it is? And if you can get past that answer, what sacrifices have you made? Are you willing to make? Are you done making sacrifices? If not, what else can you do? Because if you think about it, when things are crazy and hectic, or when your fight or flight response system kicks in, you don't really have time to complain. So if you have time to complain, I don't know, if I were using X-ray spiritual vision and sound, I would be probably talking to your spirit and subconscious saying, the way you're thinking right now, the way you're deciding to think, is that the best you can do? And maybe you don't know what the best is. Maybe sometimes you just get paralyzed in analysis. Dr. Peterson talks about something like this. He says something like, if that's happening, it might just mean that your ambitions are a little bit, they're scaled a little bit bigger than your capacity, your input, output, your bandwidth. You just narrow it down. That's why I was doing like I'm in a street that's not a crashing dust bowl. You don't have to do anything. It's just like a way of thinking. And then you do something. You scale it down. He also talks about that for some, and there is a difference. There is a separation. There is a delineation. There is a common ethic that separates us from them. And it is along those lines of, is that the best? Is that as good as you can think it to be? Just aligning to that question and then pursuing it. And then he says something like, for some, it's a thing to not give something your all and not try so hard and not tell people that you really care, that you're really passionate about something. And people do that because then in a real sense that I think it's slightly idiotic but dangerous because it can be axiomatic. I never said I cared about it that much anyway, so if other people don't really care or like it, that's no big deal. I never said I did either. Yeah, it's whack. I can't think of better words to say. It's whack, man. That's whack. Don't be whack. Don't be a whack off. Don't whack off. I mean, really, I don't know if I were to ask myself, what is more frightful and dangerous? To look forward into time and someone to think they're going to spend X amount of time talking about what they don't care about and how they don't really like something, but they do it for however long, and they're going to keep doing that. How frightful and dangerous is that? Like to your own specialness. Versus maybe you look at right now or you look forward in time and it's like maybe even a little bit I can like something a little more, or I can like doing something a little more. I might even really like something and it might even get awesome. And then the awesomeness would scale with the amount of lives also becoming. Because come on, I mean, listen. At the very ground level, let's say they're both just as emotionally, spiritually, and cognitively and communally expensive. And choose the one that's better. If you ask me, choosing what's better, participating in it, becoming onto that, and then permeating that for others and becoming. There's a quick story. I used to teach a hip-hop dance class in Sherman Oaks, California. I started teaching it because the dance teacher didn't show up one day. I was so heartbroken. Everyone else was too. I've been going for a few months. I figured, whatever. I might not be at all great at it, but I can participate in at least doing something about everyone's heart being broken, including my own. That's what we come here for. And I'll just do what I learned. So I got up and I started exclamating that I'm going to teach class and then I'm going to just share what I know. If you could help me out, please. And then I would forget these steps, and then people would come and they help me remember the steps. I did that for a couple months. The studio never knew I was doing that. And they figured out I was doing it and asked me to teach there indefinitely. But I was young. And, I learned a lot from that. And that was early 20s. But an exact opposite. It was like mid-junior high or something like that. Right, you're starting to, body starts to change, hits puberty. This young version of me, there was a sweetheart I was really into. She was so pretty. She's head of the cheerleading team. And I remember that younger version of me was like, oh man, that would be so great if she, I could be her boyfriend. And then, funny how things work out. Anyway, long story short, she asked me to dance. She had her friends cut up a letter and send it to me different times of the day. And it was both things. She asked if I would be her boyfriend and go to the dance. Sometimes we're only strong enough to understand how not good or maybe how painful, embarrassing things might be just for us. Certainly was the case for me at that time. I was like 11 or 12. So because of that, that younger version of me said no. He didn't know how to dance. You could imagine. I mean, just even how embarrassing it might have been for the other person. Because I couldn't get over complaining about how I would feel, how I was feeling at the time. And maybe I got over it fairly quickly. I went home that day. I told my friends, there's like 10 of us, we live on the same street, and they're like, oh man, no, Christy, you gotta go. Like, man, she's the prettiest girl, and you'd like this girl for a long time. Tell you what, they're like, you go get dressed. And then like they went and put together, we had these like, little carts. We have like a battery and a motor in them, but it was all taken out. And they put it together real quick and put some more grippy tires on it. And they're like, get dressed and you get in here and we're going to push you. And there's like 10 kids, push me in this car. And we're all sprinting, spur me back to where the dance was. And we got there, and I got there with the support of everyone and this newfound confidence. And even though I didn't know how to dance, I was like, I'm going to show up. But they were gone, or they didn't. She was gone, or she didn't come to the dance. And there's so much possible redemption in that story at a future time. But at that moment, no. I was too busy complaining. So if you're complaining about anything, this relates to the circumcision video we did. Sometimes you have to sit in your choices, and it's just painful. And sometimes the pain doesn't go away. And sometimes there's no one around. So I can point out this story, right? All these beautiful things that the kids helped me, and I found this new confidence that they pushed me, and I was just like, I realized how embarrassing it would have been, and there's room for redemption. You can find the beauty in things. But if it's just complaining, maybe like yourself, if it's just complaining, that younger version of me, that might have still been the version that stuck around. So maybe in a sense what I'm saying is, especially if it's unbalanced, the propensity of what complaining is and what it could do, what gives you the illusion that time is really on your side, and it maybe gives you the illusion that you're caring for yourself better than you are. You're not. You're not. Complaining, think about it. It's 2023. It's like a mobile device. You get a notification on your phone. It's time to do something about something. Oh man, and I'm also speaking from this perspective from a point of shame as well, obviously. And I relate that story because it's younger and it's dance. It can be quite embarrassing for anyone. But that's a micro in the form of a memory. These little micro things happen on the daily. I'm working on it. I think it's a good thing that we're working on it, and I think the yields that come out of it are good, so I'm sharing it with you. So that's what that is. If you complain about anything, is there any beauty around you at all? Is there enough order around you for you to be able to complain? And what sacrifices did it take for you to be wherever you are? And what sacrifices are you willing to make, or have you done? So this sacrifice here, I really enjoy this. Sharing with what I really enjoy. That's relative to stuff that's already existing, important for you and I. That in this category of videos applies to the universal. And so because of that, thank you. I thank you. We thank you for watching, for being part of things, for becoming, for to be part of things. We'd like to see you in the next video.